Why? Oh, dude! You didn't make it!
Sorry.
Ah, man. Dude, you're gonna have to get like some sort of paper towels, man.
Paper towels, man.
Oh, that was refreshing, wasn't it?
It was very cold. Why was it so cold? Was it got
Niagara Falls,
You got
man.
it from the
It's
fridge?
cold up there.
got it from the fridge?
Was it?
I want to talk about the psychology of daredevils.
Well, they say that they have. It has something to do with testosterone levels. Let me look at this. I was reading about this. Why daredevils?
Why
Dude.
Daredevil is awesome was one of the things that came up.
Really? Let's read that instead.
No, it was about Daredevil, the superhero.
How stuff works. This is a good site. Going over Niagara Falls in a barrel, being shot from a cannon, walking on a tightrope high above a city street. No one can dispute that daredevils captivate the public. What makes a daredevil, and why do we watch? Truth is, there's no set definition. I found it very interesting that when you think of a daredevil, you think of some stupid guy on a motorcycle. You don't think of a 63-year-old school teacher from Michigan in a barrel, which is eye-opening.
I mean, I don't know what it is, right? I don't know what the gene is. I'm sure there's some sort of genetic disposition, right? I don't have that. I like adventure, and I like to be scared and know that I'm okay, but I don't like to do things where there's a significant chance that I'm going to get hurt. It's like once that kind of happens, and it's like no, something's really at stake here. I'm like, this is a bad idea, guys. I back out pretty fast. Whatever gene that is.
Go ahead. What?
This Chantry Falls jumping, diving, cliff
Yeah.
thing.
Stevie went cliff diving, but she didn't dive.
Some of the guys coming out were saying that they had touched the bottom, and that's when you're like, oh.
Yeah, I'm not jumping off a cliff if the person right before me is like, I touched the bottom.
Yeah, man.
So, well, I don't want to touch the bottom harder.
Yeah. I'm just,
It was something about having raised testosterone levels, but then not having something else which allows you to, allows you to, like pleasure sensors. So you have to have, in order to have a good time, so to speak, or experience the pleasure of something, you got to take it further, because you're kind of inoculated from a chemical standpoint.
Yeah, okay.
That's very layman terms. Don't quote me on that. Why are Daredevils awesome? That's a different question entirely. I had an honorable mention that I didn't want to mention honorably, if I can pull it back up. In 1989, two guys went over in one barrel. Two guys, one barrel. Jeffrey Petkovich and Peter De Bernardi. It was a yellow steel and plexiglass barrel. It was 1,500 pounds. It had a slogan on the outside. A lot of these people, when they would do this, they would do it in order, like, to promote the homeless, or it was a publicity stunt for something beyond just them being awesome.
The jet ski with a parachute, that would have been awesome.
For homeless
and it
people.
would have really helped the homeless.
I'm sure they would have
if he had
loved it.
succeeded.
Their vessel had the slogan painted on the side, "Don't put yourself on the edge, drugs kill."
Wow.
Petkovich wore a necktie and a pair of cowboy boots. I assume he wore other things too, but I'm not gonna Google image search that.
They were fined $20,000.
Yeah, they were uninjured. They totally survived.
What do you do? What do you?
It was
put
like
on
a roller coaster ride with an abrupt halt at the end.
What do you put in the barrel?
Two guys in cowboy boots.
Because you remember what was the movie with Sylvester Stallone about the future?
Over the top.
Nope.
Demolition Man?
Over the top of a planet.
Wesley Snipes and Celeste Stallone.
Demolition Man. Demolition Man.
So that was the one.
Freeze him and then they wake him up in the future.
Yeah, and so that was the one where they had cars in the future, or as soon as you were in a wreck, the whole car filled up with like a styrofoam thing and kind of stopped you. Remember that? And like there was a person he was in a wreck and all the stuff was around him. So it was like an airbag, but it just filled up the whole car. It seems to me that if you put enough like bubble wrap or packing peanuts, or don't they put some sort of shock absorbers in there? Because it like the guy with the rubber ball, like he was on the right track. Shock absorbency.
No, he wasn't. He hit twice.
Well, his problem was the rubber part, because he hits a rock and bounces. You want to hit a rock and you want it to give.
You want it to smush and you not to.
So you want a barrel that's got a lot of give to it. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
But just look at Annie Taylor's barrel, dude.
I would do
Look
it.
at that barrel.
If I could design the barrel and test it with a dummy first,
Would you do it for
I would do it.
any amount of money in Annie Taylor's 5-foot-tall barrel? Look at that. It's just a barrel. It's like, oh, I see that barrel. I'm going to purchase it and go over a falls.
No, I wouldn't do that.
For no amount of money, right? It's not worth it. I would not do it for any amount of money.
But is there a certain line? They're like, oh, you got to take the good line where there's no rock at the bottom. You know, how do they know?
There is speculation about that, but it's nothing more than speculation.
Because the person who dies is the person who hits the rock, one of the rocks,
or drowns and can't come up, or there's multiple ways that you die. First
he
off,
went over backwards without anything.
First off, the danger is the barrel itself. When you go over 170-foot Horseshoe Falls, the forces that knock you around inside the barrel are massively strong. Even after you land, you got to go 180 feet to the pool where you would come to rest. So, chance of concussion-type injuries from rapid deceleration and acceleration are extremely high. Also, the danger of hitting the rocks and having the barrel break apart. If that happens, you have no protection and will likely either drown or be battered to death in the currents and on the rocks.
Yeah, what about the guy who was by himself?
Like
with nothing. Like what happened when he got to the bottom? I mean, how long did it take to come back up?
Well, they say that he came up pretty quickly. I mean, eyewitness accounts were, I saw him go over. He was smiling. He had his hands behind his head, back floating. And then I saw him pop up down there and go over to a rock, and then a boat had to come over and rescue him.
What a guy, man.
They basically say that, you know, it's not a free fall. You're falling in
with the water.
With water, in water, and then when it lands, you can kind of, there's this theory to where you can kind of land on a cushion of water that's already coming back up, you know? So it's kind of landing on a fountain, and then it kind of cushions your fall.
Let's do it. You've convinced me.
You first, brother.
No, me and you in a barrel for the homeless.
Same barrel. Now let's do it for the guys who've gone over on jet skis. The one guy. Let's do it for him.
Let's do it for the guy who did it for the homeless.
Let's put pictures of him on it.
We could do a double jet ski and one parachute.
Another person has gone over.
Or just the two of us on a jet ski with two parachutes.
There's another case of someone going over just in the clothes they were wearing.
And they died.
And they survived.
Oh.
7-year-old boy.
Accident.
Yeah. 7-year-old boy, his older sister, they were going towards the edge of the falls, and the sister was saved just a few meters from going over the falls. And the boat that they were in, that they I guess jumped out of or were thrown out of, it went over the falls, and the guy in the boat died. The girl was saved on the top side of the falls, and the 7-year-old boy went over the falls, came up, totally fine.
Here's a good question. If you could do it and you knew that you would survive,
then I would. And how much injury?
Of
course I would do it then. Yeah. If you could guarantee my survival,
you would break a leg.
Where would it break? Would it be a compound fracture, or would it be like
the bottom part?
The
calf.
Foot?
The calf.
Like the
not compound fracture, just maybe just break.
Come on.
I would do it. I think I would do it.
Oh gosh, that'd be so painful though. I wouldn't do it.
But it would be kind of sad because the whole time you're going over the falls, all you're thinking about is, when is my leg gonna break? Oh gosh, no my leg.
And how do you work out that kind of thing? It's not a realistic situation.